Welcome to Real Talk. It's my absolute pleasure to have Shah Jaga here doing a podcast with us. I've been waiting for this for a long time. You've been working with us for about 3 years, and 19th of August, I think it's 3 years anniversary.
Yeah.
I know I've been wanting you to come and join us, do a podcast with us, but you've been trying to wait so you've got numbers to prove it. Well, 6 months later, because you come into sales about 6 months ago or 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, in 6 months, 7 months now, you had a month break. You've sold 13 houses or 14?
13.
13 houses. I've got the numbers here. You've done almost around 350,000 in commission. Now, tell me, Shah, what drives you?
Good question, Nathan. I think the biggest driver for me is always being better than I was yesterday, and also serving people. I think the biggest thing for me was when I got into this business, and I think it was one of the interview questions as well with you, was what did I want to do? And I said I wanted to change this world better and make it better than it was when I first came into it. And I was fortunate enough, and I think that's a big driver for me.
Amazing. Tell me, let's go back to 3 years ago, when you started here with us. Mm-hmm. From where you started, tell me that journey.
It's an exciting one, and it makes me really smile about it. But I started as an admin because I had no idea what real estate was all about. And I knew it was going to be a challenging one because I've never had a background in it. But I started as an admin, and then I think after 3 to 4 months, I went into property management. And then from property management, I went into business development manager. And from there, I was in a bit of a transition period where I was still taking care of the property management department, but I was also starting to make phone calls and get into real estate. And I knew long term that's where I wanted to be, was to become a real estate agent. But yeah, it's taken about 1 year of training to be where I am today.
Amazing. That's a cool story, because I remember you said, given an opportunity, I'll prove myself to you.
Yep.
And that you've done. Started as a receptionist, I believe, admin receptionist, and you told a story, which is a brilliant one. Now, I know there's plenty of salespeople who've been in the business for just started, maybe been in the business for a year or two, and they're not doing so well. Now, tell me, 7 months and about 350,000 in commission. You've got, we are planning to hit around 700,000. Is that the goal?
Yeah, that is the goal. I definitely think it's doable, only because of the consistency. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that I think you told me when I got into it, is you were like, Shah, if you want to be in this business, you've got to be consistent and show up every day. And I think it's doable. So, yep, 700 is the target for my first year in real estate.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. And so if we go back and say, like, you teach to the agents who's just come into the business and they're like struggling, they don't know what the hell is going on, like things are not happening for them. What would your recommendation, what would your suggestion be to these agents who either been in the business for a little while and not doing very well or doing very average, or people who are thinking about getting into real estate? Give them what they should be cautious about, yeah, and what they should do.
I think one of the few things that I've always done was leech onto you. And what I mean by that is just absorbing everything you were doing in the business. And it's also having the mindset that when you get into real estate, it's not about you. It's about the people. It's about what you can do to serve someone else. And And I think with that comes everything else around you, where you start living a happier life. And when you serve more people, you end up attracting a lot more to your life. So I think when you get into real estate, something to keep in mind is that don't do it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Like it's not about the money, how much commission you make.
Yeah.
It's actually what you can do for that other person. Because when you're selling someone's house, if someone comes and asks you to sell their house, you're dealing with a lot of money. And that person trusts you.
Yeah.
So I think having that mindset that if you are actually selling someone's biggest asset,
It's a privilege.
it's a privilege. It's actually a real privilege. And to get to that point, I think it does start with your mindset and learning and taking everything in. Because before I even got my license, I remember coming to meetings with you and just learning as much as I can that has allowed me to, the moment I got to my license, to go hard out. I picked up so much along the way, and it was never about what I was getting at the end of it, because I was taking on so much.
Yeah.
And I was passionate about it. I was passionate about taking everything I possibly learned and do better. And I think that's something I can.
Interesting. What they don't tell you when you get into sales, the hard things about sales, because this is not easy. It's not for faint-hearted, right? You're gonna have sleepless nights. You're gonna have hard times. You're gonna doubt yourself. People will definitely tell you, like, is this the right thing? Why the hell are you doing it? Like, when is the next pay is gonna come, or whatever it may be, right? So it's very hard to stay consistent.
Yeah.
But if you do stay consistent for a long period of time, you could do very well. You talk about also about the importance of having a right coach, right? And having the mentality of serving people and being in the business for long term.
Yeah.
Can you just talk into that a little bit more?
Yeah. When it comes to, I guess, being in the business for a long time, when I got into it, I knew I was not going to get a listing tomorrow. It doesn't happen like that. It's consistency. So when I think for someone starting in the business, it's always a numbers game as well. It's showing up in the morning, day in, day out, and just making phone calls. I can't emphasize on that enough, because you're not going to get a listing tomorrow, the week after, but if you keep making those phone calls, it's going to lead to something greater in maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years maybe.
Yeah.
But if you're consistent, it will happen. And I think the big part was, when I got my license, I was just making phone calls day in, day out. And then suddenly, all the listings that I was working on just fell into place, one after the other. And I think, like you said, it's consistency.
Yeah.
It's making sure that you're doing it day in and day out and not giving up on yourself. I think the moment you give up on yourself, game over.
Interesting, huh? You just said about doing the numbers. That's important when you start up, because what happens is, like, a sales funnel, you put enough people into it.
Yeah.
After a little while, things started happening, right?
Yeah.
It's not a one-day thing. You got to do it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then as you put people in the funnel, you got to nurture those people, right?
Yeah.
You got to serve them, like you said. And you've been doing that brilliantly for a long period of time. What I love about you, Shai, is, like, you've got this trait that not many people do have, and the ones that I've seen that have, they go a long way. Like a sponge, like, you just take things and just execute it like it needs to be done, and you get it done, right?
Yeah.
Now, you talk about the numbers, and I see every day how hard you work, the hours that you put in, work, early days, late nights. I want to tell you, I want you to tell us about your daily routine. Like, how does that go? Because I think that is really important.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what your daily routine is like.
Yeah. So I'll go back a little bit in terms of finding a great mentor, and I've been privileged to have you as one of my mentors. Nathan.
Been a
And
privilege.
and I think seeing how you do business and how you do life is a big encouragement as to how I've ingrained that in my life as well, with my daily routine. And I think, that early mornings, setting yourself right, and we talk about it in the company, and it's part of our culture, health, having yourself right. And when we talk about that, it's about not just going to the gym and showing up at the gym and working out, but it's actually mentally as well. So it's that meditation, it's that taking time for yourself to really be present in the moment with meditation. And then from, waking up in the morning, going to the gym, meditating, and I've started cold showers. Try to get into that, but it's having that, and then showing up at work in the morning. And I think that morning routine it sets your day up, because a lot of people try to rush in the morning to get to work, and I find that really stressful. I don't like when I'm late to something. So I think that morning, having it for yourself, really plays a big part with setting your day. And like I said, Robin Sharma had a book. I've ordered it now, but it's the 5 a.m. Club. So I'm excited to read that. But I've heard the podcast around it. And I think, it doesn't mean that you've got to wake up at 5 a.m. It's just having that moment for yourself in the mornings to prepare yourself for the day.
Interesting. And Robin Sharma, he was actually the guy that coined the 5 a.m. Club. So, and there's these people part of 5 a.m. Club all around the world now, which is fantastic. I know the way you start your day is the way your day usually unfolds, right?
Yeah.
Cold showers, I'm curious, why?
One, I think it really puts you in a mind that if you can get in and do that cold showers, I do it in the morning and in the night now before I go to sleep. But if you can mentally get yourself ready for what you're getting into, which is that cold shower, you can do anything.
If you can challenge your mind, if you can get your mind to get into cold shower in winter, right, in July, right? What else can you tell your mind? The mind is the servant now, not the master, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Alex Jordan, our good friend out over in Brisbane, who is a $20 million agent, he does the cold showers before he goes to bed, I believe. So, it tells you success leave clues, right? It's not like, all you need to do is, if you want to be successful, all you need to do is just follow successful people, right? Stop hanging around with losers.
I know, yeah. I think that's another big thing that I had to cancel away from my life, was I was surrounded with a lot of people that were telling me, no, you can't do it, or putting their problems on me, or not really listening. And I think when you get to a point in your life where you realize, okay, you've only got one shot in this life and you want to give it all you've got, you start realizing who you want to have on your team. And when you have the right people on your team, I'm quite privileged. I've got an amazing, supportive husband that...
He's beautiful. He's an amazing guy, huh?
Yeah, he definitely is always there to encourage me and give me the right support, and also hit me with the hard truth when it needs to be said. And I think that's the type of people that you want on your corner, because then you're going places, you've got the right support team.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't have people talking about negativity or, wasting time on something that you can be doing to improve your life.
Sure.
And yourself as well. I think I spend a lot of time around you, Nathan, that, you've encouraged me, and you've given me a lot of opportunities along the way, which I'm grateful for. And that's taught me what I need to do and be in this business. So, yeah.
You are an absolute superstar. We know that. You said one shot in this thing called life. That's so true, because we forget that we only get one go at this thing called life, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't live what you're here to do, and it's mainly serving, it's interesting, when you become older, you become resentful. and that's why you've got so many people walking around with this thing, baggage behind their back, and they're upset with themselves and upset about the world, right?
Yeah.
You said one more thing before we move on to your. Actually, I want to come back to your daily routine, but before we do that, you said circle yourself with with people you want to be like.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we say all the time is like, if you want to hang out with 5 people who are complainers, you become the 6th one, right?
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with 5 superstars, you become the 6th one. It's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So you need to get the hell out of a place where you're hanging out with losers, because you know what happens? You're the 6th one.
Yeah. You become a loser.
Right? And I'm sure that audience that's listening to us, none of them are in that category. Tell me, you did talk about your cold shower, you did talk about exercises in the morning, you did talk about your meditation, which is fantastic, getting yourself right. Now, when you come to the office, I see in the office somewhere around 7:30 most days. What does that look like to you from there?
So my day actually starts before that day. So in terms of like my meetings, what I have to do. So let's go back. So before I go to bed, I actually make sure that, or before I leave the office or my next meeting, I make sure I know what's going to happen the day before. So planning is such a big part of my life, because life is such a way that it will throw you curveballs, and you're in real estate, so you're always going to have not the perfect day, but you can, if you're in control of your day, I think majority of it will go to plan. So I plan my day, and then when I come in the morning, I know exactly what's happening. So I know, at 8:15 or 8:13, it's meeting with the team. And then I know 9:30, it's prospecting all the way till 11 o'clock. But when I'm here in the morning, it's only to answer emails or listen to a podcast. It's my time to absorb, because I know no one else is in the office apart from you, Nathan. But sometimes it's like my time to listen to something. And I listen to Tom Panos. He's one of the other people that I listen to. And he's got, agents that he brings on his podcast that I look up to and I want to, not obviously be like, So I think that is my early morning. And then the rest of the day is, like I said, from 9:30 to 11:30 is prospecting, and then I take a break, and then it's meetings. If I don't have meetings, then I'm still prospecting. Or I spend an hour or 2 hours on my brand, so maybe putting something on social media, or creating a next game plan for my farm area. So it's always improving. So when I'm at work, I'm just focusing on work. There's nothing else around me that's distractive, because I know my day.
Interesting. You said my day starts the day before. We don't give enough credit for starting a day. Like, we talk about 5 a.m. club all the time, but we don't talk about what happens the day before. Like in the evening, like you do, you go home, write a journal, and then write what you achieved for the day and carry the things on to the next day, right?
Yeah.
We don't talk about that, how important that is, because once you put your head in the pillow, you know that you've done all you could the day before, and then the next day starts fresh. The next 24 hours, opportunity to do amazing work again. You said one other thing before we move to your team, and how that works. Look up to people, heroes, like mentors are the people that we talk to, have a conversation with, and learn things from face to face. They were there with us all the time, right? Yeah. Ideally, you want to have a mentor you can pick up the phone and have a chat with, right? Yeah. And most successful people, what I've found is, and I'm blessed to have plenty of them, right? I can pick up the phone and have a conversation with them, right? When I'm questioning anything, or when I want to talk about something that I'm trying to do. I pick their brains, right? Yeah. Which is fantastic. But then you got heroes, people that you look up to. And there's plenty of them when you make sure you got to follow the right person, right? Not the YouTube influencers who may not be doing what you're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
but the right people. Like, how do you find the right people? Like, what is, because you said obviously Tom Panos is one of good, great coaches in Australasia, and how did you?
Yeah, obviously there's so many people that I do follow that I take in information from, like Alex Jordan, you mentioned one of them. You know, he's writing 10 million now.
An absolute superstar, that guy.
Such
And he's
a guy.
one of the humblest guy on the planet.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, and he's so down to earth and just a beautiful human being that, you know, I listen to what he has to say, and I think having those people that not necessarily means that you want to be exactly like them, but it's you want to get to where they are. And you mentioned earlier that you want to follow the right people so that you can be one of them. So yeah, I think I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it is, you know, like those people that I do look up to, and a lot of these knowledge or the material is actually online. I'm not a real estate gym member, but those information that they have or discussion that they have is all online, and you just need to find it, and you need to listen to it, absorb it, and not just let it go, but actually implement it.
So you're saying there is no excuse if your company doesn't have the resources like what we blessed to have, right? Then there's no excuses. You can jump on YouTube. You can become a Tom Panos' gym member. Or you can find resources if you've got the appetite to do well in business, right?
Yeah.
So no excuses there. Like, and when you reach out to people, like, you know, people that you look up to, most people are pretty nice, pretty helpful to guide you, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I don't think there's any agent that I've got in my pipeline that I talk to has ever turned around and said, no, I'm not going to help you.
Sure.
You know, if there is something that I want to know more about, I just actually, you know, get in touch with them. And they're very busy people, so they don't reply to you very quickly, obviously, you know. But you respect that because they're not here, they're not wasting your time or theirs.
Yeah.
But they're also being open to giving you the right information.
Unfortunately, Shah, in New Zealand, we've got this scarcity mentality. And these guys who write amazing numbers, mainly our friends in Australia, they're very happy to help people out, right?
Yeah.
So we try and change with these podcasts that we're doing here in New Zealand. We want to give to people. We want to tell people, hey, if Shah's done 350,000, you follow the right people, you do the right things, you can do it as well. It's not about, like, you know, the scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
And when you reach out to people, and also, like you said, you've got to reach out to the people that you want to be like, who haven't just got their outside life right. Also, they've got beautiful family life as well. Because I think life is two-dimensional. You got a business life and you got a family life, right?
Yeah.
They both needs to be right. There's no point being successful out while everybody's seeing you and you've got a disaster fire at home, right?
Yeah.
That's not success for us, is it?
That is not, definitely not. We talk about the 4 walls and a roof, so.
You talk about the 4 walls, like you said, mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical, right? And once you get those 4 walls right, the roof takes care of itself, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Now, tell me about the next thing is your team. How does your team work? Because obviously that's an important part of your business once you get into, like, you know, that kind of numbers that you're writing and you're hoping to write for the rest of the year. What's your team look like? One
thing that I've got to give credit back is to the Najib team. When I started, it never felt like I was in this alone. So when I got into real estate, I had the support of the sales support team, where it was all I was doing is bringing in listings, making phone calls and bringing in listings, because the team here took care of everything else from pre-listing kits going out to booking my meetings, to getting my open homes ready, to the marketing, everything was taken care of for me. So even though listing went live, all I was doing is serving my client because I didn't have to worry about anything else. It was just, what can I do to get the best possible price for my vendor? And that was it. So that's the team. So we've got a sales support team, we've got a marketing team, and they take care of everything else from before the listing goes live to after.
Sure. So all you concentrating on is sell, list, sell, and negotiate, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got Barb in your team. She works alongside you as your PA or as your somebody with admin,
yeah.
right, or team manager. What does she do, and what do you do now?
So Barb takes care of my appraisals. So if there is a listing I book, she takes care of the pre-listing kit, which is information pack that goes out to the client prior to my meeting. So she takes care of that. She takes care of the appraisal. She gets my open homes ready. She makes sure my database is all nice and clean. She adds people from the open homes. She does my reports. So all of that. She gets my property live. She keeps in contact with the owners until it goes to the market. So we're always, keeping our clients up to date. So she takes care of that alongside with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just focus on, once she's done her part, where she's amazing at, she does like a pro, which is, beautiful. But once she's taken care of that, I take care of the listing when it's live.
Yeah. We salespeople, sometimes we take too much credit, and we don't give enough credit to our admin team and the PAs, because actually they do all the work.
They do all
right?
the work.
Really.
Yeah.
Of course, you couldn't have one without the other, right?
No.
So just to summarize this bit, you list, so you prospect. You said 9 to 11 every day. So you list, and then when you list the property, Barb takes care of everything until it goes to the market. Then you get back in the scene, you sell, and you do the negotiation part of things, and the settlement, and then you nurture the client from there onwards, right?
Yeah. They become my forever client.
Amazing. Tell me more about we did talk about what drives you. I know you love serving people. I know you want to do well and leave this world a better place. But I think there's something a little bit more behind that. Yeah? I think you actually want to do. It's interesting though. Like you want to give back to your parents, don't you? Like you want to help them out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we're going back to, I guess, a cooler underlying reason, that would be because I was very privileged to be able to be in New Zealand, because I was born in Malaysia but raised in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is a third world country. So my dad did the best he could. He was, he had to start his own company himself, and he did the best he could, which allowed us to be where we are today. But I think there was a lot of things that I've taken, learnings mistakes that he's made, that he's always passed on to me and said, don't make the same mistakes I've made, And I think my family wasn't able to be financially free. And I think now, me being in this position, I know what I want for my family is to be financially free, of being able to provide for them now more than they've given me. And I'm very, very fortunate and lucky that my dad did, or my parents did, as much as they could to bring me and give me a life in New Zealand, because it was not easy. I know that he's had to give up so much, selling our own homes in Sri Lanka, the one thing that he had, to bring me to New Zealand. And it wasn't, and they're still there, and I want to be able to give them a life better than I had, so that, you know.
So you take it to the whole next new level, and I know you're supporting your family back in Malaysia. They've moved to now, right? So you're supporting them, which is absolutely beautiful thing. And I know Alex wants, our friend in Brisbane, he won't mind me sharing this. Usually, well, no, actually, I say always, behind a truly successful person, there's always something bigger than just making money, right? And Alex Jordan, he paid his parents' mortgage off. Like, he sent me the beautiful video that he had.
Yeah.
He just went to his parents and says, hey, your mortgage all been paid off now, right?
Yeah.
And the father still work. Now he doesn't have to work, right?
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing. And I know, like, you know, that's what drives you behind all the amazing work you're doing. Like, you want to serve people.
Yeah.
One, obviously we give back to the community, which is another beautiful thing. And then you're helping the family. And the byproduct is you living a beautiful life, right?
Yeah.
You bought yourself a new house, you're looking to buy another beautiful house. So, hey, it's all the byproduct. I appreciate that. I know people have had got a lot out of this. If they want to reach out to you, Shah, how easy is it to get hold of you?
Oh, it's just so easy. Just get in touch with me. We're on our website. Obviously, my number's there and my email. But you can contact me on, you know, shahjagan@najibari.co.nz.
I know you're so giving, and you got this abundance mindset, which is a beautiful thing on its own. Yeah. I appreciate you, Shah.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you get into the whole new level. But I tell you what, this is absolutely amazing. The numbers that you're doing, only 6 months, having a month's break.
Had to get married.
I know I was having a conversation with you about it. Took me 6 months to do my first sale, and then the first year I made $6,240, right? And the numbers here are quite a little bit more than what I've made. So I appreciate you.
But it does come back to, you know, finding the right mentors and right people, because you know, if someone's done it, you can do it quicker if you learn from them.
I agree.
So,
I agree. There's a saying that, like, you know, there's if somebody's made so many mistakes, yes, you can go through the same route and make a whole lot of mistakes, or you can find the right mentor and then just follow in his or her footsteps, right?
Yeah.
And it's so important, like you said, to find the right mentor and reach out to them, right? Because most people are happy to help you. And the problem that we have is there's so many average agents, there's so many average leaders that we don't know who to choose from, right?
Yeah.
So you need to do your research to make sure you've got the right mentor, because I really think that is very important, right?
100%.
Welcome to Real Talk. This is Nathan Najib with Shah Jaga today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Nathan.
Please.